Welcome everyone to Mindful, and I'm Diana Winston. I'm the Director of Mindfulness Education at the Mindful Awareness Research Center at UCLA in Los Angeles, and I'm happy to be here with you from my home office in Los Angeles. And feel free to write where you're writing in from, where you're perhaps sheltering in place. I'd love to see what countries and cities and so forth. So if you feel like writing that in, we'll just take a minute as we're waiting for people to arrive. It's a beautiful day here in Los Angeles, and I don't know, I know wherever you are, we don't know what the circumstances are, and that's actually what we're going to be talking about today, which is how to be okay no matter what the circumstances are. So I'm not seeing a lot of places that people are writing in from. So I think what I'll do is simply jump in and talk with you about the topic I've chosen, which is the topic of equanimity. And equanimity, it means even-mindedness and balance. It also is sometimes thought about as non-reactivity. It's really about how do we have a mind that can be okay even in the face of whatever circumstances life brings. And we know that life currently is bringing us some very, very challenging circumstances. So, how can we have an unshakable mind? Or maybe that's too high of an aspiration, but just an ability to be with things as they are, to tolerate the ups and downs of life instead of getting swayed and tossed and turned by the waves of life. How do we find this place of even-mindedness and balance? One of the ways we can do that is through our mindfulness practice. That actually, through practicing mindfulness on a regular basis, we're learning to sit with difficult emotions, difficult thoughts. We learn this capacity to be with what is. And oh, are we still on? I just got a message that this got ended. Nope. Okay. I don't know why it's telling me that. So we develop this capacity to be with what is. The definition I use for mindfulness is paying attention to our present moment experiences with openness and curiosity and a willingness to be with what is. So that is this quality of equanimity that we're trying to cultivate, and it comes naturally through an ongoing regular mindfulness practice. We also can cultivate equanimity with phrases and doing practices that cultivate positive emotion. And that's what I wanted to offer for you today. So, so we'll do that in a moment. And I know last time that Mindful had a session, Duncan taught us about being like a mountain. And I really want to weave that into what we're doing here because that's such a powerful practice. And today we'll explore words and phrases, language, that feeling, that quality of equanimity to give us this unshakable mind that can be present with no matter what life brings. This is what we need right now. I feel like this practice has been the central practice for me in this moment, in this historical moment. Okay, so let's settle back in a way that's comfortable and at ease. Wherever you are in your chair or couch or cushion or bed, inside, outside. Let's take a few breaths. And as you take these breaths, just inviting yourself to soften and connect with yourself, coming into this body and mind right here, right now. And so to cultivate this quality of equanimity, just invite you to imagine a time where you felt even-minded and balanced, where you were non-reactive. And this could be a very small thing or it could be a big thing in your life. It could have just been like you were about to yell at your kid yesterday, but instead you took a pause and you stayed non-reactive. It could be a very important time in your life. It could be anything. So see if you can bring to mind a time where you felt balanced, maybe in spite of circumstances that would have dictated otherwise. Like you kind of surprised yourself. So let that come to mind and see if you can really see, sense, or feel what was that like. Where were you? What did you see? What did you hear? And most importantly, what did you feel inside yourself? And if nothing is coming to mind, you can remember that analogy if you were here last time about a mountain. Like a mountain is so solid, so strong and powerful. No matter what happens, the winds and the storms. Can you recall a time you felt the strength of a mountain? Or just imagine what that's like. And now feel into yourself. What does that feel like? Solidity, warmth, strength, expansive. And we might say, in reference to that situation, whatever it was, things were as they were, and I could be with this as it was. I could be with things as they were. So you can repeat words in your mind. You can use my words or you might have your own. I could be with things as they were. I handled this with strength, with equanimity. And noticing what happens inside you as you just remember that time or you imagine the mountain and these words, if they're helpful or not, to just help evoke these feelings. Things are as they are. And I could be with things as they were. And breathe and notice what's happening inside you. Now we're going to shift and imagine or bring to mind something that's been a little hard these days to have equanimity. Now it could be something simple like something someone in your household did yesterday was annoying, or you're overwhelmed by work or lack of work, or you could pick something mild, or you could pick something that you really want to work with right now. And I recommend not picking the hardest thing you can think of, but something that just feels live to you to try out this practice. So bring to mind something where you're not feeling a lot of even-mindedness, not feeling a lot of balance. And as you remember this situation or this thing that you're thinking of, notice what happens inside you. Maybe there's some tightness or tension, contraction, constriction, aversion. I don't like it. I wish it were different. Just breathe and notice. And now let's try to use some words that might be helpful. And so I'm going to say these words, and you can imagine kind of sending it to yourself in this situation, or sending it out to the situation itself, like things are as they are. Things are as they are. I can be with things as they are. So you would repeat my phrases and then kind of check in what's happening. You are as you are. I can be with you as you are. I am as I am. May I accept myself just as I am. May I weather this situation with grace, with equanimity. So as you say these words, see if you can remember how it felt in the earlier part of the meditation. And just almost like import that feeling to right here, right now. Things are as they are. I can be with things as they are. I may not like these things, and that's okay. They may not be what I want, but I can be with them. I can have the capacity to be with life as it is. What words do you want to say to yourself related to your situation? Say them now. You can know. I'll get through this. This too shall pass. I have inside me what it takes. And so notice as you're saying these words, as you're imagining and remembering the quality of equanimity and evoking it, notice what's happening. And if what happens is you start to feel more at ease or peace with the situation, really let that be here. Keep repeating whatever phrases were helpful. And if what's happening instead is some part of you says, I can't be with this, or it's not fair, or I hate this, or whatever it is, can you just notice what is present? Notice the reactivity. It's totally normal, it's totally expected. And can you offer yourself a little bit of kindness right in this moment? It's a really hard time right now. And the most important thing we can do is be kind to ourselves. We don't have to be the perfect parent or the perfect isolationist or whatever we are. We're not. We're doing the best we can. And so just to offer yourself some kindness, and then a reminder that things are as they are. May I be with things as they are. And you might even say, may I one day be with things as they are. May I one day be with things as they are. So keep trying this on your own. And if it feels too hard to pick a difficult situation, go back to where it felt doable. Maybe just sitting like that beautiful mountain, or remembering when you could handle life, a situation in life, with even-mindedness, with equanimity. If you're not feeling equanimity right now, you might say, for whatever it is I'm feeling, can I hold this with kindness? Can I hold this with kindness? If you are feeling equanimity, really let it spread. And so I just invite for the last minute or two of this meditation, let's go back to that memory, that imagination of the solidity and strength and capacity that we all have within us to handle what life brings. We can do it. We absolutely can do it. And let's sit here with that feeling just for a few more breaths. Maybe contemplating whatever I have to deal with that's coming up that I don't know about. May I meet it with equanimity. And may everyone everywhere, and we can just send this out into the world, may all of us who are struggling, whose lives have changed so drastically in these last few months, few weeks, may we meet the circumstances of life with balance and with kindness for ourselves and for every other person. So this, as I said, is a practice that I've been doing quite a lot these days and been teaching it quite a lot, and encourage you to take it with you. A couple of points I want to make, and I'm also willing to stay on a little bit. I'll end officially at 12:20, but I'll stay if you have questions, happy to answer anything that comes up. But just to say a couple things. First of all, equanimity does not make you a doormat.